Okay, most optimistically, if the Lakers do win, would a title mean more for Luka or LeBron?
Let me have a little space.
Sure.
Wow.
This is a tough question. It's a great question.
How long are you going to go?
Probably a while. I'm excited
just sit
for it.
back
That's
and
why
relax.
I said,
No, but I do think it means more for Luka slightly. Obviously, LeBron is the whole GOAT debate, and I'll get into that. But for Luka, Nick, it's the first. And not just the first, it is one. It is a title that forever gets that monkey off your back. And a player of his caliber, you got to win it. And until you do, it is always going to be there. And every year the pressure will ratchet up more and more and more. Giannis and Jokic, both multiple-time MVPs, both smack dab in the middle of their prime, both expected by many to go out in the first round. What is keeping the heat off their backs?
They got championship.
They got a championship. That's it. So our default is to blame the organization or their teammates or coaching or whatever it might be, not them because they've proven. Now, there'll be some degree of pressure. Obviously, we want to see them win another one. But once you get that one, you're a made man. So that's why I do say for Luka, it's more important. LeBron, obviously, is the GOAT debate. And you guys know I think the GOAT is Jordan. But I have said, and you probably remember this, Nick, I've said for years that when the millennials, and you're a millennial, when the millennials and Gen Z are kind of controlling the conversation versus my generation.
Can't wait.
No, but I think a lot of people, like LeBron may very well have that space that Jordan has had where he's just viewed as the GOAT. All right, I think Jordan, the only thing that made me question that was The Last Dance, because Jordan got a huge bump from that. Yep. And even younger people were like, oh, Jordan's the GOAT and all this. But I think recently LeBron has gained steam from momentum in this GOAT debate. I mentioned to Nick earlier in hoopshype.com, ever since the NBA released its top 75 players of all time a few years ago, Hoops Hype has done it every year, and they've added like a player every year, so now it's up to 78. But before this season, this was the first year they actually put LeBron number one and Jordan number two. So that's some momentum. But also the accolades, from the records he's broken, playing so well at 40. And if he gets a fifth championship, it won't sway me on this, but there will be another batch of people that will come over to LeBron if he gets his fifth ring at 40 years old. So I think I don't think it'll totally sway it where LeBron's recognized, widely as the GOAT, but I think it'll bring a significant number of people to his side, but I'd give it to Luka.
So I agree with you on the Luka stuff. I'm going to get to that in a second. On LeBron, listen, so much of, and I think we do a good job on this show of not doing this, and probably it's, I think just because we try to all be fair, and so much of the LeBron commentary is a circular firing squad, you know what I mean, on behalf of Michael Jordan, not because Michael Jordan wants it to be going on, but where the moment these playoffs start, it is, man, if you lose, you had Luka Doncic. And if you win, it's like, well, you had Luka Doncic. And so, there is, and that second part, that if you win, you had Luka Doncic, again, of course, ignores that Steph got 2 of his 4 with Kevin Durant, that Magic got 5 of his 5 with Kareem, that Kobe got got 5 of his 6, Kareem got 5 of his 6 with Magic. Kobe got 3 of his 5 with Shaq, and Shaq got 3 of his 4 with Kobe. Now, that is an argument people would say for Michael Jordan because he doesn't have another pantheon player alongside him for it, even though Pippen was a great player. But there aren't a lot of undecided voters left in the GOAT debate, which is weird in that one guy is still playing, but set that aside. Luka, this vaults him into such a different stratosphere because he already is statistically an all-time playoff performer. So you guys have seen these graphs before. Most playoff points per game of all time. It is Luka behind only Jordan, and then 6 of the greatest scorers of all time are on that list. your buddy Bill Simmons, who actually was texting with this morning, he did a great pod with Wendy, created the 42 Club, which was individual, don't go to it yet, Dust, individual playoff runs for guys who have averaged a total of 42 points, rebounds, and assists. And it was in his book. It was his shorthand for great playoff runs. So I took that idea and said, hey, who are the guys whose career playoff averages are in the 42 combined points, rebounds, assists? That's this group of guys. Wilt, Luka, Joker, Bill Russell, Jordan, LeBron, Elgin, Giannis. No outliers there, no flaws there. It's just like, okay. And then if he wins the title, who's done this? Who's had 5 first-team All-NBA seasons and a championship before they turn 28? Luka, Bron, Magic, Bird, Duncan, and old Bullet Bob Pettit. Jordan won a bunch of titles
older than
right
28
after.
there, Bob.
Yeah, no, I actually think he is 28 years old there, man. People used to age. The picture of him. And so he immediately jumps in. If they win the title, Wilds, and at the podium says, "My heart's broken. I never wanted to leave Dallas. I'm retiring to go back to Slovenia." He's a top 30 all-time player. He jumps Clyde. He jumps Gary Payton. He jumps Steve Nash. He's in the tier with...
He jumps Barkley. I mean, as great as... And Barkley,
Really?
I have major respect for
MVPs?
Barkley's game. But just leading the team to a championship. Now, he does have LeBron, but still.
Okay. Well, who's leading?
Well, being the best player.
I think he's the best player.
Probably the best
I think
player.
LeBron obviously is his team, but Luka's the best player.
He's certainly in that tier.
Barkley did play. Now, I get it. It was later in his career, but he did play with Olajuwon and Pippen and then Olajuwon and Drexler.
Yes.
And if you look at Barkley's numbers the year before he went to Houston, they were Barkley numbers.
He was an MVP candidate. Yeah. And so, but even if he's just certainly in that tier, he's in that group of guys. And the other thing it would do is this. He would have, and I'm very curious where you stand on this, a legitimate claim that he is the best player in the world.
Oh, definitely.
So, like, Joker would have, by definition, not gone as far as Luka in either of the last 2 postseasons. Giannis would not have gone as far as Luka in either of the last 2 postseasons. You know what I mean? If we're saying Luka wins it, last year Luka went much further than Joker, went much further than Giannis, and if he wins it, he goes further than everybody. So, like, that,
I think he
those
would
are
have
the
an
stakes.
argument, as you say. I don't think I still think most people would view Jokic as.
Well, we'll see.
Because
how
they
the
would
playoff
say,
run
put Jokic with LeBron.
Sure.
That's what, you know what I mean? So but I think he have an argument.
He'd have an argument.
And I was on the Herd the other day. Kyler made a good point. He could be the face of the league if they won the championship. His jersey sales skyrocketed once he went to the Lakers.
Yeah, I think he's
with the
finally
glamour
dethroned
franchise.
LeBron and Steph.
Yeah. So he probably would, good chance he'd be the face of the league.
Question for you, Brew, because I knew you guys were going to handle that very well. I'm like, I wonder what it means for LeBron as a Laker outside of the GOAT conversation. And this is a bigger conversation, obviously, in baseball for the silly quirk of your hat in the Hall of Fame. It's just a fun thing to argue about. So if he wins the total list of guys who won 2 with 2 teams, Robert Horry, Kerr, Rodman, who you could argue had a real, role in both teams, Ron Harper, and then LeBron.
It's all role
None
players.
of them were stars, right? Other than LeBron.
So do you think that if he won with the Laker, would you start to think of him as a Laker, like when you close your eyes in 20 years?
I would think of him as a Laker before a Heat.
You would?
I might already.
Probably that.
I mean, I think he's
that's
a Cav.
interesting.
So
I think he should go into the Hall of Fame as a Cav, and I think he'll, just because he's from there, and that championship is still, and even if they win it this year at 40, which would be huge, I still think his greatest championship was the one in Cleveland.
Yes, but I do think. Do you agree with me that certainly if they win this, he is a bigger imprint on the Lakers than the Heat? Like, so they'd be even on championships.
Yes.
Now the Heat thing was unbelievable.
It was just so, it was short.
But it was short.
But it had a big impact on the NBA, but I don't view his legacy in Miami as almost like a mercenary in a weird way.
The thing is this, though. those were his first championships.
Yep.
And that was huge for his career. And we saw the struggles in the first finals against Dallas and the maturity the growth he showed in winning those two there. So and the Lakers also have so many other champions and great all-time great players. I don't know if I put it ahead of the Heat.
I don't know. The Lakers.
And that ushered in an era of super teams, player-generated super teams.
Oh, I think the Heat era had more of an impact on basketball as a whole. But I'm saying, like, for me, it is insane how long he's been a Laker. He has been a Laker.
This is his 8th year?
This is his 7th year.
7th year.
So this is
like it.
LeBron's career has gone 7 years in Cleveland, 4 in Miami, 4 in Cleveland, 7 with the Lakers. So if we assume, as I think we all do, that he's going to be a Laker next year, the longest single tenure with one team that he would have ever had would be with the Lakers. And if they get a second championship, after having their only 6-year, real drought in team history, it certainly guarantees him a statue out front of Staples, which I know has been
they need to find room for it.
I know, right? Right. Next to Oscar De La Hoya or something. But certainly.
Before any title talk for LA, the Lakers do need to get through the Wolves. Magic Johnson is picking the Lakers in 6, but worried about Anthony Edwards, writing, I'm scared for my Lakers because the game's most exciting player, superstar Anthony Edwards, is a matchup problem. Here's how Ant has done in the playoffs, averaging 28 points, which is 9th most all time. Should the Lakers be afraid of Anthony Edwards?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No. I mean, respect him. We understand he is a great player that's on the ascent. So you definitely respect him. But no, I mean, they've got a young player that's better than Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic. And then they got a LeBron, a veteran champion who's still playing great basketball. Like, I don't want to simplify things like this is all that matters, but it's 2 still big-time superstars against 1. Like, they should be fearing the Lakers versus the Lakers fearing them. This reminds me of this. Humor me. Because we know Ant has been compared to Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
But this reminds me, and I know these Lakers aren't as good as those 86 Celtics. But when Jordan was young and early in his career,
the 63-point game.
Yes, and faced the Celtics, they got swept. First game, though, Jordan goes for 49. Second game, he goes for 63. Then he goes for 19 in the third game, and they lose. They get swept. That's when Larry Bird said he's God, disguised as Michael Jordan and all that. But Jordan was 23. Ant is 23. I thought Jordan had very little chance of winning that series, and they didn't. I don't think Minnesota has much chance of winning this series, and I don't think they will. But I think Ant could go berserk individually and lose.
So I agree with that part. I must say, as high as I am on the 2025 Los Angeles Lakers, the 1986 Boston Celtics might have been the greatest team in league history. Certainly on the short list.
I mean, they swept Jordan.
Right? I mean, they swept him whenever they played him in the playoffs. So that's neither here nor there. So I think Anthony Edwards will absolutely get his. I know he had a weird season series against the Lakers. There was a game the Timberwolves won where Ant scored 8 points. He had a game that he got thrown out of. So his averages against the Lakers don't look good. I would pencil him in for, I said it when the series started, when we first found out about it, I'll say it again, 32 a game.
That's too much.
And see, I don't think it is.
Too much? You meaning if he gets 32 a game, you think they can win?
No, I don't think they can win.
You think it's too much? You think that would be bad for the Timberwolves?
I think a little bit of, There was an interesting quote, and he's aware of this now. When you talk about his maturity, he says, at this point in the season, it doesn't matter who gets 20 or 30. It doesn't matter if I have 5. It doesn't matter if Julius has 5. Some nights it might be Nas who gets 30. The whole series, Jaden might average 25. It feels like in the article went on, it was in The Athletic, saying that he's aware that he's going to get doubled, and if he tries to go toe-to-toe with Luka, I got to get mine, Or if he does get his and doesn't get Jaden involved, then it's.
See, I don't know if he's right that he's going to get doubled.
Oh, well, then
And so, I mean,
might be.
listen,
They
I
could
think.
just play it like if he
Just
gets
play it
his.
like, you know what, because here's the deal. I think a sneaky important part of this series is in a name we have not mentioned once. I don't think Mike Conley will be playable. I think the Lakers' ability with Luka, LeBron, or Austin, one of them, like if Conley's on the court, he's got to guard somebody. And any of those guys' ability, go ahead.
Isn't Rudy going to erase some of that? If you just blow past Conley, just don't let him hit.
So
threes?
that's where I think getting Rudy involved in the pick and roll and getting him out on the edge. I just think that. So the reason I'm mentioning that is Conley is. Listen, he's the same draft class as Durant. Like, he's an older player. At his advanced age, still a good offensive player and the best passer on their team. If he gets played out of the series, then Ant has to do so much for the scoring and playmaking. And he's going to have to bust his ass on the defensive end. I think this is, even with the days between, not he's going to be tired going into games. I just think this is going to be an exhausting workload for him, and they're going to need a ton from Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a ton from Jaden McDaniels, and the reason I don't think they're necessarily going to blitz Ant is I think what JJ, just my guess, is going to try to prevent is those role players from feeling confident seeing open shots go in to be like, listen, Ant's going to be confident no matter what.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to score.
He's going to score no matter what. They don't have a way to, and so I think late in close games, right? Yeah. Then force the ball out of his hands. But I think Ant's going to score a ton. And I know the Timberwolves had the number 8 offense in basketball this year. I don't think they're going to have enough offense to keep up with the Lakers.
Can I upgrade you one?
Sure.
Since March, since they really heated up, they've got the 3rd best record, offensive rating, 2nd best, defensive rating, 7th best.
So that's why I thought you were going to pick them. And I wasn't trying to be a jerk when I said that, but you've cared a lot about post-Luka trade, Lakers record, Lakers net rating, and the Timberwolves in that time frame have been awesome.
Yeah.
And
I'm not picking
Go ahead.
I'm not picking them. You're right.
You believe in the Lakers.
I think LeBron can win 2 games, and I think Luka can win 2 games. I'll even make it simpler than you. Hey, who can win 2 games? And both LeBron and Luka are like, okay, good.
They don't. Those numbers are interesting for their offensive rating because they really don't have like a legit. I mean, Randall's key. If he can be that second scorer, which we doubt because of his playoff struggles, then maybe they'll have a shot.
Also,
but
maybe
he's got to be that guy.
Other super simple, maybe if I want to go to the Wolves, taller.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's.
Well, the Wolves have good size.
Yeah, I just don't know if
Gobert,
it's
they're
functional.
good size on the wing.
Nas is awesome. Nas is a key person.
Is long.
15 seconds here. So, a question for you guys: is Anthony Edwards the 2nd best player in this series?
Gosh, he should be.
He's viewed as, I had him first team All-NBA. I had LeBron second team. If you add the experience on, you certainly want to, LeBron's got an edge, not just because of experience, but that's a big edge. LeBron has seen everything.
So I guess my point is this: for the Timberwolves to have a real shot, and they do have a real, I'm not trying to disrespect them, they have a real shot, Anthony Edwards has to outplay LeBron James. If we assume Luka's going to be the best player in the series, you can't win a series if the other team's got the best and 2nd best player and they play like it. Like Anthony Edwards is gonna. And
some of that depends on how LeBron comes out, because we've seen him coast early and then come on strong in the 4th quarter. So,
thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.